Hi, it's 10:15 in the East, which means it's 7:15 out in the Pacific, and 10:15 a.m. in New Zealand. But guess what? It's always disc golf time here on Disc Golf Planet. Hi, I'm John Dusor, and I have the great privilege of being surrounded by the greatest female disc golfers in the world. You are watching DGP Weekly, and we are at the Vibram Open here in Leicester, Massachusetts at the beautiful Maple Hill course. I'm so glad you can join us. I'm joined by Liz Lopez, Paige Pierce, Sarah Hokom, Valarie Jenkins, and Sarah Stanhope, and what a lineup we have for you tonight. Tonight's feature, of course, is Ladies' Night here at the Vibram Open. And I want to talk, first of all, about this great moment in disc golf where the women's division is really so competitive. We see it this year. There's great parity. Val's won 4 NTs, but Sarah's won 2, Paige has won 2, and you've had great years. Both of you had great years. So there's a lot of parity, and on any given weekend, any of the women's field can win, especially of these top 5 players. And what I'd like to ask you, we'll start with you, Sarah, is first of all, what do you think is making the difference? You have this neat perspective because you tour, but then you get to see it from the outside too. What is making the difference with all these great women coming out to play disc golf?
Well, it's just the visibility of the sport has been increasing greatly. I mean, we're getting new courses all the time. People are just out in the park, see somebody throwing a frisbee, hey, what's that? And they'll check it out. We've got plenty of athletic women out there, but when they see something else, they're going to want to try it. And, Disc Golf Planet, people like you guys giving us great publicity and making the sport more visible is really helping us out.
Well, thank you so much. And I think it is really that athletic component because all of you have played sports in some capacity. And Sarah, of course, you were an All-American volleyball player, am I right? And tell me a little bit about how your volleyball experience has translated into disc golf.
I would say that competing at a high level in any sport transfers to another. So it's really helped me be able to compete with the women of this age who all have great mental games. In addition, it helps me with the discipline and training that I learned when I played volleyball, and I transfer that to my disc golf.
Yeah, of course. Now, we know, Liz, you were the 2008 Rookie of the Year, so you've been touring for a couple years now. Mm-hmm. And you've been really active on the tour. Tell me a little bit about what your perspective is and, what do you expect when you show up at an event now? There's more women playing, there's more talent out there, and so how do you approach these tournaments?
Well, I guess the competition, the level these days is just risen to just ridiculous level. Before, I was always pretty confident, that I'd finish somewhere up top, either win or maybe get second, third, maybe the worst. I'd be like, there's no way I should get worse than third place. But now it's just there's just so many amazing women that it's just wow, I got to fight really hard to stay up top. You can't just take any shot for granted. It's you have to fight every stroke just to try to stay up there.
And so you're fighting during the tournament, but have your preparations changed as well before you even start the event?
Oh, definitely. I have to put a lot more work into dialing down my shots, because players like Sarah Hokom and Stanhope, they have that crazy good sidearm, and I'm not very confident in that shot yet. So it's I have to I realized I had to go out there in the field and really work on this shot because, that's one big advantage they have over me, especially in wooded courses here at Maple Hill. It's last week, Pittsburgh, we played these really wooded courses and, Stanhope, Hokom came up on top, and I was I really need to get my game together. So I spent, yesterday just out in one of the fields just working on it in case I was stuck in this spot. I was I'm gonna need this shot.
You sure you really want to do that now, huh?
Definitely.
What are you saying?
Yeah, bring it.
I know, it's a great shot. I think it's one of the most underutilized shots because it's just a flick of the wrist, boy, and that thing can fly.
That's it, just flick it.
It's not as easy as it looks. Flick of the wrist, no big deal.
As we've seen the women's talent pool rise and emerge, no one's really emerged faster than you, Paige. You were the Rookie of the Year just last year. Now you are world champion. And what really has made the difference for you, and when did you decide to really commit yourself to be one of the top players in disc golf?
I've been committed since 2009 probably, but it's not enough to be committed. You also have to have that skill, and you have to have the mind game. You have to have everything. It's not just commitment. So I've been trying for a while, but I just recently started putting it all together, getting my putt figured out and my head game.
And I guess like they always say, I mean, you drive for show, but putt for dough is really the truth. I mean, it's the short game and the fine-tuning of the sport that really has made the difference, and certainly putting you over the top, and congratulations, a great Worlds win. Now, Valarie, you've been the Player of the Year 3 years in a row now? 4 years? 3 years, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you've been at the top of the women's field for a lot of years, but boy, they're nipping at your heels, aren't they?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You know, when I started playing, I was competing against Burl and Des on a regular basis, and it was, you know, we were the consistent three in the tour, and now you can see there's 5 of us right here, and that's just barely nipping at the competitive field that we have here at the Vibram. So yeah, it's amazing to have this kind of competition.
Do you feel like the women are sort of shooting for you now? I mean, it's sort of tough. I mean, when you're the number one player, like in sports, when you're the best team or the best player, I mean, everybody sort of gets up when you're in the field. Do you feel that when you're out there?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm glad to be that kind of leader. You know, it's difficult to be at the top, and you know, you can't put yourself on a pedestal. Golf's a game of, you know, you're playing every shot. You're playing hole by hole, and it's, you know, yeah, it's a game. And so people are trying to play, and they're practicing and disciplining themselves to get better and better. So, yeah, I think it's great that everybody's rising up and working harder to compete. So,
and I mean, not only is the competition great, but just the sport, the game itself will humble you quickly, and you know, at any given point in time. Now, we are here in Leicester, Massachusetts for the culminating event of our national tour. And the PDGA, this is I guess it's the 8th year for the National Tour, and it's been really our showcase event. Now, you've all been around the country. You've played not only the National Tour events, but our World Championships, our major events. Can you just tell me, Sarah, now you've been sort of one of the newest players in the National Tour. What does the National Tour mean to you, and what do you think, even more importantly, what do you think the National Tour means to disc golf itself?
To me, it's where I go to find competition. I know these ladies try to find it everywhere. You don't see it at B and C tiers, even A tiers. Sometimes we can only get 3 women to come out and play with us. So national tours, I mean, we had a couple ones that were like 7 or 8 women. I think Alabama, Texas are a little low on numbers, but that's the only place we can find it. Get to play against the best in the world, and so that's what it means to me, is, you know, getting to do my best against the best. As the PDGA and the National Tour, I mean, it's the showcase of all the best players. I mean, if you want to get yourself out there and you want to show the world what you can do, you got to be able to play against the best in the world, and the men are doing the same thing. So, I mean, it's showcase.
Absolutely. And one of the things I'm really struck about is that as much as there's, you know, this great competitive field out there, and there is great competition, it seems like the women have a little bit of a different approach than the men have. And Paige, tell me a little bit about, you know, this whole idea of competition. I know you're out there, you're trying hard, but how would you compare the women's approach to competing versus the men's approach to competing?
Okay, that's good point. I think it's completely different. When I practice with guys a lot, we don't really ever practice together, but the thing I'm finding to be the most different is guys go for every single putt. They go for every single drive out of the bushes. We usually lay up out of the bushes if we're smart, hopefully. And sometimes we lay up putts that they would never lay up. And I think it actually benefits us sometimes. If they would miss a 75-footer and hit the basket and roll away 50 feet, they're probably not going to make that, as opposed to us laying it up and taking an easy part.
Sure, and I mean, it was the Grateful Dead who said the women are smarter, so you know, we all can accept that, of course. Yeah. But Liz, do you agree with that? I mean, you play obviously a smart player, but are you ever aggressive on the course when you think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be aggressive, or is that the approach you take as well?
No, I think what's kind of separating me from, you know, finishing up top every weekend is the fact that I'm very conservative on the course. You know, it's like I'm consistently finishing on the top, but, you know, not really finishing first at the bigger events, you know, and it's like there's got to be a point where you decide, should I play it safe or should I go for it? And I think that kind of is what's separating me from the rest of these girls. Like, I see Hokom go for these putts, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And she'll like just go and like she'll make them, and I'm like, gosh, I would have never done that. I would never do that. And even Paige sometimes, she's
maybe
just...
Sarah, maybe can you give her some advice? I mean, I don't know, maybe the night before an event starts. I mean, where is that balancing point?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's risk reward, and I play with Lopez a lot, and she is super consistent. And there's just something to knowing, the percentage shot. I might make it out of that gap, but I might not, and just take the higher percentage. And then, final 9 situation, that's where it gets a little more fun, I guess. But
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, we weigh our risk reward as well.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I'm thoroughly impressed. I mean, I've been in the sport a few years myself and watching the women play, and I'm really just so, it's an exciting moment because now, I mean, we love to watch the men play, we love to watch them throw far, but the women are just playing so well. And, Valarie, tomorrow starts the, culminating event here at the Vibram Open of the National Tour. You're the points leader right now. Now Sarah's been, sneaking up on you 10 points behind in the point standings. I know you have this sort of approach, and you take your sort of approach the same almost on every tournament, right? I mean, that you're going to win. What are some of your thoughts going through your head right now before tomorrow's round?
I don't know. This is a tricky course. I think the whole national tour is kind of, every tournament's completely different. We started off in Arizona, pretty much wide open OB, Houston, wide open and woodsy. In these last 2 tournaments, Pittsburgh and now, it's just tight, woodsy, technical courses. And so, and a course like this, you just gotta keep it together, hopefully keep it in the fairway. And, I'm just gonna try and play my best. I think it was a good practice round we had today at the match play. And so I'm hoping to play as good as I did earlier.
For sure. Now, Sarah, of course, you're chasing Valarie for that national points title. I mean, did you ever expect before this tour began this year that you'd be in this position?
Yeah. It's my goal. You always have to expect that you're going to do your best and that you could do that. But it is better. I'm doing better than I thought I would do, certainly. They all play good. You can't beat Valarie if you don't play good. She's good every weekend.
So I've been looking at your season so far, and it's been sort of first, or a couple first, but second or third just about every event. I mean, your finishing average on the national tour is like just a little bit over second place every week. That you've been on the national tour event, so it's been awesome. Paige, you're the world champion now. Has it really sunk into you that you're the PDGA world champion?
Kind of, like in my head, not really, but people are kind of treating me different, so yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's weird. I don't know how to describe.
I mean, you could never really describe the feeling because it almost is like, I would imagine when you win the world championship, you think the skies are going to open, and then but it's still, you still have to drive. You have to drive far distances to these events, and still the grind of the national tours there. But how are you going to get up for this event? I guess is sort of my point. Now you worked so hard. It was a great battle with Valarie, and I mean, it really went down to the last few holes at the Worlds. How do you get yourself mentally prepared for these kind of events now?
For this tournament?
For this tournament.
Just practice, play the course, know what shots you're going to throw, what disc you're going to throw on what hole, if you're going to lay up or go for it. I think this tournament in particular, I'm going to play safer than I've ever played. There's 3 18-hole rounds.
I'm not sure they believe you, Paige.
We'll see. That's what I'm planning on doing for now. But, there's only 3 18-hole rounds, which is less than we've played at any other national tour. So it's really every hole matters. There's no need to go for something big that could cost you.
Liz, I think all the women here would agree. I mean, you certainly have the talent, you have the capabilities to win these big events. What is it really going to take for you to get you over the top? I mean, I know you talk about playing conservative. We just talked a little bit about that, but that's Sarah's suggesting the forehand throw. Maybe we'll see if that works. But let me ask you first of all, what's your strength right now of your game, and maybe what's the other part that you need to work on a little bit more?
I think my upshots are my strength. I think like distance-wise, I throw far enough, to keep up with everybody. Up shots, I'm pretty consistent. I don't know, sometimes, the putting's really kind of inconsistent, sometimes it's like, and it's like during a round, it's not like one round I'm on, one I'm off. It's like in the round, it's like I'll be slamming like this 40-footer and then like missing the 10-footer. It's just like, gosh, I don't know. I think it's just the mental aspect. And as far as like what's separating me, I think like wanting it. Like Paige all year was just like, I'm going to win worlds. I'm going to win worlds. Like there was no way she was thinking she was not winning worlds. It's just like, I think just wanting it more. It's like my attitude towards disc golf is like having fun, trying to play my best and see where it gets me. And I think I need to have I just need to fight more.
Good for you. Yeah. No, I like that. Because that's really what a champion takes. You have to just sort of put it out of your head and just really focus. You are the defending Vibram Open champion. So Sarah, we'll go to you last. What's it going to take for you to repeat as champion? And tell me a little bit about how this course might play into your strengths.
Well, it is somewhat lefty-friendly, I would say. I think Sarah might agree with me there, especially the hole 6, 5, hole 5. You got a nice sidearm line out over the water, but it's just real tight fairway if you're trying to throw backhand. But it's tight, so. I'm definitely not the bomber out there, and I'm waiting to see Paige throw on 16. But this is just an accuracy-driven course. You have to hit your lines, and you have to stay in the fairway. You don't have to get super far, but you got to hit your lines.
Absolutely. Well, ladies, I wish you all the best of luck. It is such a privilege for me to be here with you. And I'm just celebrating the great women's disc golfers we're having, and hopefully you're going to inspire more women to get out and play. I know you inspire me. Of course, I'm not much of a disc golfer when I play, but I like what I do with Disc Golf Planet. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I've been joined by Liz Lopez, Paige Pierce, Sarah Hokom, Valarie Jenkins, and Sarah Stanhope. What a privilege it is for me, John Dusler, to be on Disc Golf Planet. And thank everybody for watching, and make sure you check out the Vibram Open all weekend long on discgolfplanet.tv. Thanks, everybody.